Every grandmother has her favorite pot roast recipe, and they all have one thing in common, a very big pot. I'm gonna make pot roast, but with the volume turned up. Lots of red wine, a little bit of cognac, lots of vegetables. It's gonna be delicious. I actually love pot roast. It's really simple enough for every day, but I'm gonna make one that's special enough for company. And there's something about that shared experience, everybody having big pot roast and vegetables out of one pot. It's very earthy and it's comforting. So I have a 5-pound piece of really good quality chuck roast. If I did this with something like a fillet of beef, by the time it was done braising, it would be tough and dry. I want it to be moist and absolutely delicious. I'm gonna pat it dry, helps in the searing, and then I'm gonna season it. Tablespoon of salt, it sounds like a lot, but it's a big piece of meat. And just all over. And this is gonna flavor the meat and the sauce on both sides. I think everybody's secret favorite meal is pot roast. Whenever I serve it, people go, oh, I love pot roast. And a half a tablespoon of pepper. Remember, this is a big piece of meat and you want the flavor to get into the middle. Okay. Next thing I'm gonna do is flour it, and that's gonna help in the searing. So, big handful of flour on a plate. And then just roll the pot roast in it. So this is gonna help searing the outside of the pot roast. But what it's also going to do is it's going to thicken the sauce. And this is where the big pot comes in. This is a Dutch oven, and it's just the best pot you can use for pot roast. So I'm just going to heat up about 2 tablespoons of olive oil. Just enough to sear the meat all the way around. Just get it really nice and hot. What the searing is going to do is going to seal in the juices, but it's also going to make the sauce taste fantastic. Okay, in goes the beef. It's going to sear about 45 minutes on each side. In the meantime, I'm going to get the vegetables ready. I need 2 cups of carrots. Why mess with something that works? I love classic vegetables for pot roast. Carrots, onions, celery, leeks. I'm going to add a few ingredients from my beef bourguignon, a little wine, a little cognac. I think it's going to be fantastic. And I think this pot roast is ready to be turned. I'm just going to turn it maybe a quarter of a turn till it gets browned all over. Oh, look how gorgeous that looks. Next, I'm going to work on the celery. I need 2 cups of celery. Nice big chunks. You can do it more finely if you like, but I like the sort of earthy, chunky flavor of the big chunks of carrots and celery. I'm going to give the beef another quarter turn, make sure it's browned all over. This is good for the beef, but it also flavors the sauce. The red wine's going to deglaze the pan. Okay, next is the onions. I've got 2 big Spanish onions. You can use regular yellow onions, but these are so much easier. Just give them a big rough dice. I use Spanish onions because they're bigger, they're easier to chop up, and they're sort of sweeter flavor. I wish you could smell this pot roast. It smells fantastic already. Okay, that's 2 Spanish onions. So I'm just going to turn this one more time, just to the final side. When I'm testing recipes, I always keep a notebook nearby, and I'm just going to write down 2 onions so I don't forget. Next are the leeks. The thing about leeks are they're really great. They have really delicate flavor. They have lots of sand in them, so you have to make sure you wash them really well. So I'm just going to take off the really dark green parts on the top. And then run your knife right down the middle, cut them in half, and then you can see the inside. They make you cry, but it's worth it. Pull apart the leaves a little bit so you make sure that all the sand is out of it. Okay, I'm just going to give them a big rough chop. And these leeks are going to go in with the onions and carrots and celery. It's going to flavor the sauce. Okay, I think the meat's all seared. I'm going to take this big baby out, put it on a plate, and then start making the sauce. Whoa. And put a little bit more olive oil in, and then I'm going to sear all the vegetables, get them nice and browned and caramelized. It's kind of like making soup. You always want to start with the vegetables and get them nice and brown. I'm going to cook them for about 10 minutes until they just start to get tender. And then I'll make the sauce and then put the beef right back in and cook them all together. This is a pot roast. This actually makes a lot of sauce, but what I love to do is have some sauce left over for the next day, put it on pasta, have a fabulous pasta bolognese. Okay, while that cooks, I'm going to put some garlic in. I actually don't think garlic was in my original recipe, but you know that beef bourguignon thing? I thought it'd be great with garlic. And instead of chopping it up, I'm just going to smash them, and it's going to dissolve into the sauce. And the garlic goes right in with the vegetables, with a tablespoon of salt, and a half a tablespoon of pepper. Give it a big stir. This smells fantastic. Easy enough for every day and delicious for company. So the next thing I need is a bouquet garni, which is basically herbs all tied up. I can chop up the herbs, I can take off the leaves, but you know what? If I just tie it up with a string, then at the end I can just fish the stems right out. It's so much easier. Bouquet garni can be really any kind of herbs, but I'm using thyme and rosemary from my garden. Sometimes what the French do is they like hang the string over the side of the pot, but we'll be able to fish it out. Right in. It's gonna flavor it, it's gonna be fantastic. I think I'll make a note of those herbs, otherwise I'll definitely forget. So thyme and rosemary. Okay, next some red wine. I like to use Burgundy for this. About 2 cups right in the pan. And what this is gonna do is gonna flavor the sauce, but it's also gonna deglaze the pan. So all that crusty stuff from the beef and from searing the vegetables is gonna end up in the sauce. And then just to make it a little extra special, 2 tablespoons of cognac. Gives it that nice hit. And this is smelling pretty good. Okay, next is 1 can of whole plum tomatoes. I actually choose the tomatoes that are in tomato puree, so it's even thicker. 1 cup of chicken stock. I use homemade chicken stock, if you can. It really does make a difference. And then if you have it around the house, I actually even give it more flavor by using a chicken bouillon cube. It just really intensifies the flavor. If you don't have it, don't worry about it, but it'll be even better. This is all about flavor. 2 teaspoons of salt, half a teaspoon of pepper. Give it a big stir. This just smells so good. Tomatoes and the wine, celery and carrots. Fantastic. It's gonna make such a good sauce. Now it's just time to put the beef in. Oh, this is some large pot roast. Just slide it right in, and that's what's gonna make it taste moist and delicious. All the gorgeous sauce. I'm just gonna bring it up to a simmer, and then it's gonna go into the oven, and it's gonna cook for several hours until it's meltingly delicious. Oh, I forgot, I better write down red wine and cognac, otherwise I'll forget. Red wine, cognac, all the important flavor elements. Okay, so the sauce is up to a simmer, and this is the special part of this dish. Usually you have to stand over a stove, lower the heat, raise the heat, lower the heat, watch it, forget all that. Just put the lid on, and I'll put the whole thing in the oven, 325 for an hour, then I'll lower the heat for another hour, and it's gonna cook all by itself. I'm not even gonna watch. Pot roast, it's one of those great comfort foods. Oh God, that smells so good. But it's usually not special enough for company. So I've decided to turn up the volume and use flavors from beef bourguignon and make a really good pot roast. So the first thing I'm gonna do is take the meat out of the sauce, and it's just been simmering in here. So it's absolutely delicious and tender, really tender. And the sauce, I don't like it too chunky, but I don't like it too smooth. So I'm gonna take the sauce, well first I'm gonna skim off some of the fat. And then I'm gonna fish out that bouquet garni. You know the herbs that I tied together? First I have to find them. Oh, here they are. So much easier to fish out if they're all tied together. Okay, I'm gonna puree half the sauce. I like it chunky, a little pureed, and I get the best of both worlds by pureeing half of it. Lots of chunky vegetables, all cook for hours. They're just so good. it were. Okay, back in the pot. See, it's nice and thick now. So this looks perfect. So the sauce is a little thickened, but I'm going to thicken it even more. I need 1 tablespoon of butter, room temperature butter, 2 tablespoons of flour. If anybody's made gravy and found lumps in the gravy, it's because they didn't do this. If you put the flour directly in, it just gets really lumpy. But if you mash it with butter, it makes the perfect mixture. Okay, just mash it together with a fork until all the flour is gone. It's one mixture. Okay, I'm just going to put that right into the sauce. Just cook it over a low heat, just until the flavor of the flour is gone. Sometimes I make this in advance and I slice the meat and put it right back in the sauce. I can reheat it in a day or two for dinner. So while the sauce simmers away, I'm going to carve the meat. First thing I need to do is remove the string. Nice thick slices. Just going to cover this with sauce. It's going to absorb into the meat. It's going to be so good. Baked potatoes with sour cream. Who wouldn't want that for dinner? I would say this is pot roast good enough for company. Big piece of foil, keep it warm. Now that's a dinner fit for company.
Sounds good.
She's in first hands. You guys, I have Ina's company pot roast.
Yummy. Yum, Mom.
That smells delicious.
Delicious.
So I'm going to start with the chicken, about 4 to 5 pounds, a whole chicken. And the first thing I'm going to do is pat it dry. And that helps it brown when it's in the oven. And then salt it inside and out. Lots of salt. You want it to have fantastic flavor. And pepper. I want lots of flavor in it. So I'm going to take lemon. I'm just going to cut it in big quarters. Just like that. I'm going to put half a lemon inside the chicken. And then when it roasts, all the lemon juices and the chicken, and then I'm going to put garlic in too. So that's going to roast in. Don't have to peel the garlic. You don't have to do anything. Just cut it right in half, and all that fabulous garlic's going to be in the chicken. Right inside. Okay, into a roasting pan. And then we're going to cook it with lots of wonderful flavors, onions, more lemon. First, I'm going to tie this little guy together. There are lots of ways to truss a chicken, but I hate when it looks like it's in bondage. All you have to do is tie the legs together. Now, trussing is really just about making sure the chicken roasts evenly. If the legs are out like that, they're not going to roast at the same time the rest of the body of the chicken. Just take the wings, just tuck them under. Just like that. Perfect. Little olive oil so it browns beautifully. Just drizzle it on. Clean hands are the best tools. And salt and pepper on top. I want this to be the best chicken ever. Okay, that's the chicken. Next I'm going to do lemons and onions. And I'm going to mix them together and roast them with the chicken. And not only will I serve them with the chicken, but it's going to become the sauce too. It's going to be fab. So I'm going to just do this in the bowl. You can do it in the pan, but I just like to toss it together in the bowl. So I've got the half a lemon that I've left over. I'm going to do another lemon. It's actually amazing. You never think of eating cooked lemon, including the rind, but when it's roasted with the chicken, it sort of caramelizes a little bit, and it's so delicious. A little bit bitter, but I like that. And it's really good. And of course, the juice makes the sauce, which is fabulous. So I'm going to cut up big, thick slices of 2 Spanish onions. I actually like Spanish onions. They're a little sweeter than regular onions. There's lots of vegetables. It makes lots of sauce and vegetables to serve along with it. It's big, rough slices. 2 tablespoons of good olive oil. Just drizzle it on top. About a teaspoon of salt. This is why I like to do it in a bowl, so you get it really well mixed. Half a teaspoon of pepper. Clean hands again. Okay, and then we take all of this and just put it right around the chicken. And it's all gonna roast together. All the chicken juices and the lemon juices and the onions, they're all gonna cook together. It's gonna be so delicious. This is my version of the Glamour Magazine Girls Engagement Chicken. Okay, into the oven, 425 degrees, and depending on how big the chicken is, it'll be about an hour and 15, an hour and 30 minutes, and this is gonna be the most delicious engagement chicken. When I invite people for dinner, I want them to feel really welcome. So instead of making something fancy, I make something very earthy, and I thought that'd be perfect for Frank and Stephen too. So what I thought I'd make is marinated loin of pork, which I'm gonna marinate here, and then I'm gonna cook at their house, and a Greek panzanella, which is like a Greek salad with bread in it. It's so good, it's a great combination. First, the marinade for the pork. I'm gonna zest 1 lemon. Whenever I do lemon juice, I always try and use the zest because it's got all the oils in it. It's so much more flavorful. Okay, next, 3/4 of a cup of freshly squeezed lemon juice. Right into the bowl. 1/2 cup of olive oil. That keeps the loins of pork really moist. I'm gonna do 6 cloves of garlic. I want this to be really flavorful. So I'm gonna do 2 tablespoons of minced garlic. I really want to mince this finely so it doesn't burn when I cook the loin of pork. Right into the marinade. And then lots of fresh herbs. I have rosemary and thyme. I love the smell of rosemary. 1.5 tablespoons of minced fresh rosemary. Okay, that should be good for 1.5 tablespoons. You always want to measure it already minced. It's 1.5 tablespoons of minced rosemary as opposed to 1.5 tablespoons of rosemary minced. Big difference. Okay, 1.5 tablespoons. Perfect. And then thyme. I think the rosemary and thyme together are really great. Very Mediterranean. So I need 1 tablespoon of minced fresh thyme leaves. This is the kind of thing I think fresh herbs are really important. Somehow dried herbs just never have the same sort of flavor. I think it's because the oil's not in the dried herbs anymore. It's the oil and the rosemary and the thyme that really flavors things. Okay, I need about 1 tablespoon, so that should do it. Just give it a rough chop. Each herb has a really distinct flavor, and you want to choose the ones that are perfect for whatever you're cooking. So that's 1 tablespoon of thyme. I need 2 teaspoons of salt. And the last thing is 2 teaspoons of good mustard. I like Dijon mustard. It has a nice sharpness to it. So I'm just going to give it a little stir. This is really just like making a vinaigrette. It just has more lemon juice in it. So I know this isn't very glamorous, but the best way to marinate meat is in a plastic bag. It really gets the marinade around the meat. So these are the pork loins. I've got 3. They're about 1 pound each. It's a really inexpensive cut of meat. I think it's fantastic. Each one serves 2 people. After it's cooked, I'm just going to slice it like that. So to marinate it, I'm going to put it right in this plastic bag. That's 1. This way, all you have to do is pour the marinade in over, and then the marinade gets all around the meat and it really gets into it. Okay, just pour it in carefully. Oop, got it. Seal the bag. Well, it's not elegant, but it really works. So I'm going to marinate for about 3 hours. It's even better overnight, but 3 hours will do it. And with this, lots of fresh thyme, I'm going to make a beautiful flower arrangement. So I actually found a job for the guys. They're setting the table. So for the pork loins, a few tablespoons of olive oil in a pan. I'm going to do this actually the way restaurants cook meat, which is to sear it in a pan and then bake it in the oven. So just lift it right out of the marinade, put it right into the pan. You don't want to put the marinade into the pan. You want them as dry as you can so that they really sear. I'm just going to sear it for about 2 minutes on each side so it just browns. Then I'm going to put it in the oven and cook it until it's just barely pink inside. Okay, these look gorgeous and brown right now, so I'm just going to give them a turn. Ah, beautiful. Okay, 2 minutes on that side, and then into the oven, in a hot oven, and they'll be perfect. A little on the edges. Okay, Pork tenderloins are nice and browned, which is exactly the way I want them. Into the oven, 400 degrees for 10 minutes until it's 137 degrees, and they'll be moist and delicious. And the best pork tenderloins Frank and his guests have ever had. I hope.
Hi! You made it.
Good to see you.
Welcome to East Hampton.
Hi.
Come on in.
Thank you. Bingo, 137 degrees. Perfect. Okay, loin of pork resting, temperature down to 375 for the plum crunch, and in it goes. We're gonna hot, bubbly plum crunch for dessert. Okay, time to plate everything. The panzanella, how good does that look? With all the vegetables and feta. And of course, the bread cubes soaked in vinaigrette. So colorful, it's just wonderful. I love that it's served at room temperature, so it's ready whenever dinner is. So that's panzanella. Next is the loin of pork. It's been resting for 10 minutes and should be nice and juicy and tender. How gorgeous does that look? Wow. So I'm just gonna put them on the board. I'll show you how I cut them. So I'm just gonna do slices like that. Very simple, it doesn't have to be fancy. That's perfectly done. Just nice and pink inside. For a potluck party, I have 3 basic principles. Make it ahead, make things that travel well, and make it so delicious. So for this party, I'm making short ribs and cheddar dill cornbread. How good does that sound? So what I did was I asked the butcher for 9 short ribs, and I asked him to trim the fat off them. I've got nice, big, meaty short ribs. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna roast them first, and then I'm gonna put them in a big pot with all kinds of wine and vegetables, and just cook them up slowly so they're really tender and delicious. So I have 9 short ribs. Extra one in the middle. Just sprinkle them with lots of salt and pepper. I'm going to roast them at high temperature, 400 degrees, for about 15 minutes. And what that's going to do is really caramelize and sear the meat instead of doing it on the top of a stove, which is so annoying. And then into the oven, 400 degrees for about 15 minutes. And then it's going to go all into a big stock pot. Okay, into the oven. Best thing about a potluck party is I love surprises. Can't wait to see what TR is making for dessert. So while the short ribs sear in the oven, I'm going to get the vegetables for the sauce ready. So I'm going to chop up lots of vegetables and then cook them over low heat in a stock pot and really caramelize the flavors, get the wonderful flavors into the sauce. The first thing I'm starting with is 1 large leek, which is really in the onion family, but a milder onion flavor. Very classic for sauces. And what I did was I washed it really, really well, because sometimes there's sand in leeks. I'm going to heat up a 1/4 cup of oil. I need a big stock pot for this, because all the vegetables and the short ribs are going to go into this. And while that heats up, I'm going to get 1 fennel chopped up. Fennel's kind of unusual vegetable, but it's pretty much available everywhere now. Just cut off the tops, cut off the end if it's browned, and then what I like to do is take out the core. So just run your knife down the middle, and you can see the core is right there. It's that little triangle. So just take it out. It's just a little tougher than the rest of the fennel. Fennel is really this wonderful anise flavor. If you haven't had it, I have to say I'm not a fan of raw fennel, but cooked fennel is so delicious. So I'm just going to chop it up. I've got all kinds of vegetables in this sauce, and the more vegetables, the more flavored it is. Fennel and leeks and carrots and celery and onions, and it all blends together. Just cooked for a long time. It just flavors the sauce. Beef short ribs can be really rich, so I like a really nice fresh vegetable sauce to go with it. So oil's nice and hot, so in goes the fennel and leeks. Just toss them right in. And I have lots more vegetables to put in the sauce. I've got 2 onions, 4 cups of celery, and 2 carrots. I'm going to just put them right in. This gives the sauce so much flavor and texture. It's wonderful. And when the short ribs are so rich, that really the vegetables in the sauce really cut that. Fabulous. Just going to give it a big stir. I'm going to cook this for about 15, 20 minutes until the vegetables are really tender and browned. And then I'm going to add wine. I'm going to add herbs. It's going to be delicious. So I've got 3 cloves of garlic, just right into the pot. I'm going to cook them for just about a minute, so you get all the flavor but not burnt. Okay, give it a little stir. Does this smell good? You can even smell the garlic already. Okay, now I'm going to put some tomato paste in, about 2 tablespoons. It's going to really intensify the sauce. And a whole bottle of red wine. I'm actually using Burgundy. I always cook with something I'd want to serve for dinner. You don't want to use a cheap wine in your cooking and then it tastes like cheap dinner. Fabulous. So this is going to cook for about 10 minutes until the wine is reduced by half and it'll really intensify the flavors. Oh, I think I can smell those short ribs searing in the oven. I'm going to go see how they're doing. Oh my God, they're just gorgeous, nice and brown. I'm going to turn the oven down to 300. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the short ribs into the sauce and then put it all back in the oven. And it's going to cook slowly for a long time until those short ribs, you can just eat them with a spoon. This is great. Okay, now I'm going to season the sauce. I'm going to put in a tablespoon of salt, a teaspoon of pepper. Okay, give that a big stir. Okay, now I'm going to make an herb bouquet. It's sort of like a bouquet garni, but just 2 herbs. So I've got rosemary and fresh thyme. What I'm going to do is I'm going to tie them together. If I just put them in the sauce, then fishing out the stems would be impossible. But if I tie them together and just fish out the whole bundle, get all of the flavor and none of the problems. Okay, right into the sauce. Okay, so I'm just going to put the ribs in. Just put them right on top of the sauce. Tiara's dessert better be really good after this. It's a challenge to see whose is better. Somehow I think it will be. Okay, that's perfect fit. 9 short ribs right in. Okay, next a little bit of a surprise ingredient. A tablespoon of brown sugar really brings out the sweetness in the vegetable and caramelizes everything. And 6 cups of beef stock. I have homemade beef stock, but if you can find good beef stock in the store, that's fine too. Homemade's always better. So it's a lot of liquid, and it's just going to simmer slowly in this stock and the sauce and all the juices from the short ribs. Oh my God, this is going to be so good. Okay, now I'm just going to bring this up to a simmer. Give it a stir. You want it simmering when it goes in the oven so it starts cooking right away. I'm going to put it into the oven, 300 degrees, for about 2 hours. Really slow cook it. It's going to be one great dinner. Whoa, that's a big pot. The short ribs have been cooking for about 2 hours. They're going to be meltingly tender. What I'm going to do is, oh, how good does that look? What I'm going to do is I'm going to take the short ribs out of the sauce, and then I'm going to reduce the sauce down even further. These are going to just be wonderful. Oh, they're just completely falling apart. Look at that. I'd say TR is going to be very happy with this dinner. So the point of reducing the sauce is just really intensify the flavor. Whoa, they're just completely falling off the bone. The wonderful part of having bones in the sauce is it really flavors it and thickens it. So I'm going to take all of these out. It's amazing how much the short ribs actually reduce in size when they're cooking. They look pretty big when they start, but by now they're really smaller. So I think 2 or 3 per person is great. So I'm going to take out our little bundle of herbs that has just nothing but stems now. And that's why we tie it together. And I'm going to skim off some of the fat because you really don't want the sauce to be too greasy. The short ribs are rich enough as it is. I'm going to reduce this on simmer for about 20 minutes till it's rich and thick and delicious. I've reduced the sauce for the short ribs. And it's so nice and thick. I just want to, look how fabulous that looks. It's really thick and rich. It tastes so good. You can really taste the beef and the vegetables and the wine, the garlic, fantastic. This is gonna be really good. Okay, so now I'm just gonna put the short ribs right back in and let them heat up together. Right in the sauce. Try and do it without getting it all over me. Perfect. This is just gonna be fantastic. And the good news is it's gonna stay nice and hot while I take it to TR's. Okay, TR, short ribs? How's
Wow.
that? How's that?
Fantastic.
Okay, cool.
Cannot
Is that
wait.
good? To the table.
Okay.
Is Kurt coming?
He is.
All right, we're ready
Should
for
be good.
anything.
I know. We're ready.
Home?
Hey, how are you?
Hey.
Anybody with a bottle of wine like that is invited in.
That's
serious. Whoa, I knew you
Thank
were the
you for having
right
me,
guy
girl.
to bring wine.
How does that
Such
sound?
style.
Okay. I know this looks fabulous. I've smelled it. Now I'm dying to taste it.
Wow.
Do we think it's any good?
Unbelievable.
You don't disappoint, lady.
Oh,
Ever.
thank you. My friend Sarah Chase has written two of my favorite cookbooks of all time, Open House Cooking and Cold Weather Cooking. But the best thing is she was involved in the turkey hotline at Thanksgiving, so she knows everything there is to know about turkeys and the crazy questions, right?
I do.
So she's here to make a turkey with me. Who better to do it? And we're going to make a turkey with white truffle butter, which I think is such a great idea. And you're going to put it under the skin, right?
Yes. What we want to do is with your hands, and this is not the most pleasant job in the world, and pretty much you don't want to have anything on your hands like a big rock that's going to tear the turkey skin because you want to keep it
Well, you want to have a big rock on
intact.
your hands, but not while you're making the turkey.
Or not this hand that's going underneath the turkey. And then we take wads of butter.
Wads of butter, always a good idea. It is
we-
Thanksgiving after all.
We smush it around underneath the skin. And what this butter is going to do is help keep the meat very, very moist and also perfume the entire bird.
I'm just going to take an onion and cut it in eighths. You don't even have to peel it, just like that.
Because rather than stuffing the turkey, we're just going to put aromatics in the cavity, which actually lessens the roasting time.
Okay, so we've got an onion and a half a head of garlic, the whole thing, peel and all. Okay, so the first thing we have to do is
Let's get
salt
the
and
cavity
pepper it,
ready,
right?
yeah.
Okay, so you're going to hold it open and I'm going to put
Yeah.
salt in, lots of salt.
Yeah.
Lots and lots of salt. Make sure it tastes really good. And pepper. Okay. And then onions.
Okay,
So
we want
got
some
fresh
thyme in there.
Actually, the wackiest story I ever heard is a very good friend put the turkey in the oven, set it, and went for a walk, and came back, couldn't open the oven door. And I said, why? She said, because I set it on clean. So they had to unscrew the door in order to get the turkey out. And I said, what did you do? And she said, I served it. She said, it was very clean. Okay, so should I tie it up?
Sure. Just going to drizzle a couple tablespoons of olive oil over, pat it all over. And this is just almost like suntan lotion. Helps with the even browning, no SPF in here. The turkey roast gets it nice and brown, and you just want to rub a light coating all over. And once that is on, you want to take your time, a little bit extra time,
Isn't that gorgeous?
and just sprinkle it over the top, sort of in a very French bistro manner, and then lots of salt and pepper again on the
Lots of salt
skin.
and pepper.
Because I don't know about you, but I live to eat the turkey skin.
Okay, into the oven, 325 degrees for about 2.5 to 3 hours until the white meat is 160 degrees right in the middle of the breast, and the good news is no basting. About halfway through, when the breast is golden, cover it loosely with aluminum foil just to prevent the skin from burning. And how's this for an idea? If you want the skin to be crisp, don't baste the turkey at all. Take the turkey out to rest for 15 to 20 minutes and cover it tightly with aluminum foil. It'll bring all the juices back into the turkey. I have knives and forks for everybody, or am I gonna, I'm gonna give you a taste. How's that?
All right.
And I'm using my fingers. That's the best turkey I ever had. It was unbelievable. And how easy was that?